How do you determine when you switch between the two? Anytime I want to over, this is the part where it helps out a lot. This is a half on a fade blade. When it's about halfway, half of a 1.5 on a fade blade is pretty much equivalent to this one open. So the taper blade, buying it off of Louis, because the homie Louis likes his stuff to match. He's not gonna put a gold one on what? It's like on the low pro, the gray and blue. And this one looked pretty cool. So the blade I used to have is just a regular, I don't know if you would call that a fade blade, or the taper has more of a like belly to it. Me and my wrong terminology. These ones are pretty much, yeah, if there's, and then there's these kind. Like this is the fade blade. It might just help you more in the sense of like flicking probably, because this one is more straight up, more flat, which is probably why you like this one, because that's how you cut hair too. You go straight up with it instead of, the flicking is gonna come down when you're like at a no guard. You just put it, you know, hold it down. It's kind of tricky because these, they have so much tension. The older clippers don't have this much tension. These is like a lot of tension. Just kind of want to hold it. Always place it like this so that you don't go in like this and mess up the teeth. You get me? You just got to be careful with this one. And then hold it down here. Like this is where you're going to move it from. This have a lot of tension. Let's put the black screws on. So the way I do these, I do it to where, so this is how I put on the screws. I'm gonna tighten it and I'm holding it very loose. Very loose, so once it's done, it's done. Just so it could be enough. Because they have so much tension by the time you put them completely, oh, I didn't grab Louis. We redo it. All right, redo. What did you do wrong there?
It came off the, I forgot to talk about these. It came off of the holes. You need to match the holes or else it's gonna do that every time. There's these two holes. You want to match these little springs to the holes. You gotta, if you don't do it, it's gonna pop off. Like that, now it's in. You're gonna push down. You just kind of work it in. Slide it in. Hold it. While you're doing this, make sure to hold everything like super hard. If not, things are just gonna bounce off. Let it rest. Start tightening it down, but not too much. Just enough to where it's almost tight. And you can't do it too much. Just kind of loosely tighten it up. The reason why you want to do that is because it's like that, and you want it almost as much, because once you do a little bit more, it's gonna move a tiny bit up. So how I do it, if they're not fully tightened, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna push it, turn it on real quick. You want this last tooth to line up with that bigger teeth, like that. So I look at it from the side. I make sure it's nice and where I want it right there. You don't want it too much, like this is too far out. You kind of want it symmetrical, but you still want this side a little bit higher. So I'm right now worried about this corner to get where I want it to get. That's as close as I'm gonna go. Then I go and I tighten that one up. It's gonna move this up and you'll see. But since this one's still loose, you see how it moved up like that? That's why you kind of want it nice and even at first, because it's gonna do that after that. Make sure whatever thing you're hitting it with, you're doing it with like something that's soft. You see how why this like that? That's how I do it with this one. And just gently tap it. If it's not moving, it's because it's too tight. Go and loosen it up a little bit. Gently, and just keep working it down. It'll eventually go down. Little by little, and just keep looking at it. It has to be with a soft, there we go. Now it's straight. You could probably go a little bit closer to that, but that for me, that's close enough. Let me see.
Now I could just tighten it. Nope, see, it went out of balance. So I have to go a little bit more than that. I'm gonna push it down just so I won't hit it too hard. But I work this corner and then I work that corner. That should be close enough. You don't need it that much closer. String test? Let's do in the middle first. That cut's good.
Middle cut's solid though, huh?
Yeah.
It's always
That's
like
okay.
that on the corners.
The sharpeners. It's okay. It'll cut. So, oh, that's a good way of the crunch. We didn't. Did we do this one?
That's technology.
So that anytime they do more crunch, you'll hear it on this too, and that's what we don't want. We don't want to feel tugness.
Yeah.
That's where the crunch comes from. Like this one, you'll probably hear it crunch on the corners because I can already feel it. But he's gonna go 6 on top. It's straight out of the box. We're gonna see how much it cuts. See? The crunch. Yeah. But overall, it still cuts good. That's just a thing that I know because I sharpen my clipper blades, and we don't like that. But overall, it's pretty good. How much was this one, Lou? Off of 35? It's still not too bad. It's still good. It's not. I'll probably sharpen it a little bit, but not now. Tú métete en el video, güey. Watch right now, everybody's trying to duck the camera, and later there's them like. This is the taper blade. The crunch technology, Louis.
So how do you
It's
determine when you switch between the two?
When you want to use them. Me, once I get to about anytime I want to overlap the previous number. So it's usually between a 1.5 when you're a really beginner, and then once you get a little bit advanced, you'll switch it when you're at a half to a no guard. We'll do it right now. I don't know, Louis. I think I saved you from one.
Huh?
I saved you from one.
You like that blade?
It's not sharpened right. I could feel it myself. It cuts. And usually like,
He gave you a used blade?
nah, it's a thing in the sharpening world where they don't sharpen them right. Like it's a thing. But you can't do much about it unless you like learn and you buy your own stuff, you know? The way I would do it is I would always use this one with the fade to start my guides. You get me? And then right now I would grab this one, and he has a 6, I'm gonna go a 4.
When you want to be closer, you use the other one. When you want to get in between the stuff, you use that.
So once I get down to a 1, I'm gonna switch over to my fade blade. You get me?
Yeah.
And then once I hit a 1.5 close, after that step, I'll switch over to this one. But this one is pretty close too. So when I did the fade blade with my guides, once I get there, this one will be just a tad longer, but it'll blend into it. You get me? Watch once it's hard for me to explain it. We'll do it while I cut hair. That was a 4, this is a 2. And this is a good example of how like it's so much bulk when I was cutting his hair, and I'm still doing the same steps. You just got to go in and just trust and get used to where those numbers would be, so you don't have to worry about it. That was a 2. This is a 1.5 open. Close it. Open it. Close it. Open it. Close it. And then here I'm gonna switch over to, I'm gonna use the 1 with the fade blade. Halfways. Close it. Yeah, this one just sharpened a lot better, Lou. I'll sharpen that one, it'll be fine. It's new enough to where I just have to sharpen the cutter. I don't have to touch the other one. Halfway. And this is one of the haircuts where I'm gonna go back with the clipper over comb to push everything up a little bit and clean everything up more. It's all these little, I could see where it's a little bit longer than I want to. So that's why I don't worry too much about with my guards. Halfways. Close it. This is the part where it helps out a lot. This is a half on a fade blade. When it's about halfways, half of a 1.5 on a fade blade is pretty much equivalent. Right there, I went down, sorry. Half of this is equivalent to this one open. That's just that little transition that'll help you just like mentally. So when you're working it down, you just kind of go into it. You see what I did there? It's just this thing that helps you.
So is that blade similar to the Masters?
Yeah, but the Master just goes a little bit longer, and we'll do a video of no one has explained why, but I'll do a video of why it does that. And that would just be the difference. If you want to do a little bit more detail work, you could go with your half again, and you won't create another line, you'll be fine. So I'm gonna go back, but I usually don't do it like that. I work all around with the same number. So here I close it all the way with the 1.5. So with the taper blade open, the taper blade open is not gonna do much to it. So I'm okay going pretty high. I'm not gonna cut a lot. Wait.
Yeah.